Welcome to next week of Tai Chi Tuesday. We're going to go straight into it today. So feet shoulder width apart, toes are nice and relaxed, kneecaps down, not pulled up and tense. Relax into the hips. Nice deep breaths into the belly. Relaxing the shoulders. Attaching string from ceiling. And if you still haven't quite got the hang of the breathing, you can put one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. And as you breathe, just trying to make the belly hand move in and out, and the chest hand stay still. Easier to test out laying down. So just relaxing into it, some nice deep breaths. And we're going to help that along with some breathing regulation, breathing in. Just to the shoulders, breathing out. Don't forget, hands can look a little higher on the camera. Breathing in. And out. And then we're going to move straight into our follow along forms. We're going to do 1 and 2 today to begin with. Let's see how much you remember. Carry on breathing nice and deep into the belly. Remember, I'm mirroring for these. Relax shoulders. Well done if you managed to remember those. If you haven't seen the follow along forms before, they are in previous videos. You won't find them on anyone else's channel because I made these prior to COVID to help my beginners who were finding the 10 form difficult. And actually I've now proved the point because in a class, this would have been several weeks ago now because of when I make the videos, but in a recent class I taught the follow along 1, follow along 2, and then we went into 10 form, and I actually found it really easy because they already had the basics there, the roots of the basic forms, and they just had to learn the stepping properly, which we had already started working on. So they actually managed to go through the 10 form in pretty much in one night. So that was quite good for me to see. So we've been on the 10 form and we have done the opening, the commencement, reverse reading arms, the brush knee push with a step. Obviously I'm mirroring at the moment because I would normally do it the other way. So we're going to go from part the horse's mane. And again, as we've done the follow along forms, you've done part the horse's mane. We did them step with the step to the corner and also without a step at the beginning of the follow along number 1. So it's exactly the same thing. The only difference is that at the beginning of the form, we need to turn the hands to bring the ball to the right place. So I will turn around and I'll do that beginning part of 10 form the right way round, and I'll just show you the hands for that. So 12 o'clock is this way towards my lovely plant, and the shoulders are relaxed. Find your center as you do your opening into your Wu Chi. So you'll open and find your center. Take as much time here as you need. And commencement. And then your reverse reading arms starting on the right. And then you're moving the weight across, keeping the left hand there and stepping back. Do you remember diagonally across your square? 4, your first brush knee push. Remembering that when you've stepped and you've turned your back foot, which is really important, not to move the weight back. Keep it forward. So it's a nice strong stance. And you move it back when you're ready to lift those toes. To step the other side for the second brush knee push. Remember to move from the center and allow your body to bring the shoulders around so the body is working as one. From here, hold the ball, so bring the right hand under the ball and turn it anti-clockwise. So again, very similar to what we did in the follow along form. And we're going to hold the ball. This is actually normally, when you get used to it, this will be done halfway around like this. But at the moment, we'll do it to 3 o'clock. We'll turn the ball and then lift the toes and turn back to 12. And I'm just going to shuffle forward so you can see my feet. And then the left foot comes back. Then step across your square diagonally again with your left foot. You're still facing 12 o'clock so that you can turn from the center. So the weight moves forward and the turn also comes from the center. The back heel lifts. And then you place it back down without moving the weight backwards for your first part of the horse's mane. Lift the toes again. Turn the palms to hold the ball. Turn to 12. And the right foot comes in. And again, I'm just going to shuffle forward to make sure you can still see my feet. And we'll do the same. Stepping across, diagonally across your square. Put the toes down, so there's no weight on there. So it's like the Tai Chi walking. and then I move the weight across and turn at the same time, so everything moves together. And that is my second part of the horse's mane. Then we have cloud hands, which is a little bit more complicated in this form because of the footwork. In the 24 form, it makes a lot more sense. So from here, you might have to rewind this bit a few times. I'm going to turn that right palm down, and we're going to swap the hands. And we're going to swizzle the feet around to 12 o'clock to bring, using again from the center, bringing the hands to the left side. When the hands are on the left, the feet come together. Swap the hands. Move across. When the hands go to the right, the feet are opening. So this time we're going to open on the left. This is in horse riding stance. This can be as wide as you want and as low as you want, or as short. Depends on your ability and what you want to achieve. Then the hands swap. Move across. Now that left foot you just put out comes back in. Swap the hands. Moving from the waist. Step out on the right this time. Again, as wide and as low as you like. Swap the hands. Move across. Hands to the left. Right foot comes in. Now that was quite complicated for some. I always used to play a little game in my classes. Used to say, you have a bucket. You're standing in the bucket. You've always got to have one foot in the bucket. So when you step out with the left, you've got to step back in with the left. And because in Tai Chi everything is opposites, when you've done the left, you must do the right. Right foot steps out. Right foot steps back in. So you've always got one foot in the bucket. So from that part of the horse's mane again, the right palm goes down, swap the hands, they swizzle around, right foot in. Then step out of the bucket on the left, into horse riding stance, remembering to support the knees, pushing the top of the thighs out. Left foot comes in, right foot steps out. Then the right foot comes in. Swap the hands as though still doing, you'll swap the hands as though still doing cloud hands, but you're going to go into a rooster stands on one leg, which is in the follow along number 2. Rooster stands on one leg, remembering you can go on the toe, you can lift up, you can do it a little bit. Keep your centre of gravity over the one side, bend the knee a little bit, knees should be bent anyway. Extending from the ceiling. And it should be controlled on the way up and the way down. Rooster stands on one leg. And just be aware not to break at the hips, so we don't want bending forward to make this movement happen. So again, from the part of the horse's mane, could turn the palm down, swap, move across, closing on the left. Sorry, closing on the right, that was, don't know my left and right, do I? Opening on the left. Closing on the left. Opening on the right. Standing on your trousers. And closing on the right. Then you swap the hands. Rooster stands on left leg first. And then rooster stands on the right leg. Then we hold the triangle. Okay, and from there we go into kick or step with heel, starting with the right on the right side. So you have your triangle, And your circle with the right hand going underneath the cross. I'm mirroring now. The elbows bend and the knee lifts at the same time. The hands push out and the foot pushes out at the same time. So your right hand goes over your right leg, left hand for balance. Again, has to be as controlled on the way out and on the way in. If you can't keep that control and you're finding that you're having to sort of do that, then either take it much lower or do, as I say, kick or step. And the idea of this is to do it in a sort of empty step kind of way, so that you're just resting on that heel and your weight is still, or your center of gravity is still down the opposite leg, so that you could lift that up like that without having to move the body backwards to be able to lift it up. So if you put weight on it like that and you want to lift it up, you have to move the weight back, you have to move your body back to be able to lift that up. So that's how you know whether you've got weight on it or not. Start off like that, and you can always build it up through time, a little bit at a time. If you have hip problems and things like that, then just adapt it to what is suitable for you. So if you've got hip problems or whatever, you can always do a little half step instead. Just keep a nice short step. The only downside to doing a step is that sometimes people forget to bring that leg back in. So you have to remember to bring that leg back in and do your next one, opposite hand underneath. And again, you can just do a little half step. And then that keeps the weight central and won't put any pressure on your hips. So if you do have hip problems, don't worry. If you have balance problems, don't worry. There's ways around everything. Okay, so then after that, it's grasp the bird's tail to each corner, cross hands and close. And you would have done your 10 form. So now you've done follow along 1, follow along 2, and 10 form. So let's have a go. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to move backwards and you probably won't be able to see my feet, but I will try and keep shuffling forward where possible, and I'll tell you where I'm doing that so you'll know not to move. But I am limited on space, as you can see. Okay. Nice deep breaths into the belly. Always take a bit of time at the beginning of the form. Opening. Commencement. Reverse reading arms. Brush knee push, 9 o'clock first. Step across your square, move from the centre, turn the back foot, keep the weight forward. Also keep bends on the elbows and the knees. Brush knee push again, turning the back foot and keeping the weight forward. Hold the ball and turn, lift the toes. Part the horse's mane, stepping across your square again. Move the weight back. I'm just going to shuffle forward. Step across your square again. Turn the back foot. Palm down. Swap the hands. We're going to go into cloud hands now. Swizzle the feet. Bring the right foot in. Swap. Remember, you can pretend you're hugging a tree and moving it from one side to the other, if that gives you a visualization to make the hands easier. Hands on the left, left foot comes in. Hands on the right, feet opening, other side. And then back on this side. I'm going to do rooster, stands on one leg. Rooster stands on the other leg. Triangle. Make sure you've got your knees bent so you've got a good place for balance. Then you've got your kick or step, with heel. And then the same the other side. And then bring the right hand under the ball. Step across your square diagonally again. Still facing 12, move that weight forward. For grasp the bird's tail, make sure you've turned your back foot. It's a long movement to do without having your feet the right way. Press. Roll back. Push. Hold the triangle. Step across, so your left hand is under the ball. Step across your square. Keep the weight forward. And then you can move it back and forward, moving from the center each time and forward. Then you're going to hold this triangle round to 12 again. Come back to Wu Chi. Cross hands. So the hands cross at the bottom, doesn't matter which way round. Up to the shoulders, open the hands. And then as the hands come down, the body raises up. And the left foot comes in. So we'll do some more on the 10 form next week. We'll go through it again from beginning to end. Maybe do a bit of stepping, and we're going to look at all of those 3 forms together. So we'll have a bit of a sort of a catch-up week. Catch-up week's not really the right words, is it? Anyway, putting everything together before we start thinking about 24 form. Ooh. Okay, so we will do, I'm just going to do follow along one to finish, I think, today. And I will see you next week for Tai Chi Tuesday. Thank you very much. Do feel free to make comments. If there's something you want to see in particular or something you want me to go over again, do put it in the comments. I'm quite happy to make my videos around other people's guidance. Okay, so